this problem is really in quadratic form.
Oh dear.
Remember, if we had x squared, let's say minus 3x plus 2, that equation is in the same form as e to the 2x minus 3e to the x plus 2. Notice this exponent is twice this exponent. If we have x to the first power, this is twice, right? If I'm thinking about the exponents, here I have an x, so this is 2x. All right, and then here's my constant term. So we can work a problem like this very much like a quadratic. We just factor it. What's e to the x times e to the x? If I have e to the x times e to the x, what is that?
2x.
E to the 2x.
Dx.
We add exponents.
Exponent of an exponent?
So,
You can do it on the calculator. It's really cool.
all right, let's think about this though. E to the x times e to the x is e to the 2x. We add exponents, right?
Yes.
What are factors of 2 and 1 that when I add them together give me negative 3?
So we need a negative 2 and a negative 1.
Okay, we just factored that, so we could say that e to the x minus 2 is 0. So e to the x equals 2. And if we take the natural log of both sides, x times the natural log of e equals the natural log of 2. And what did we say the natural log of e is? 1.
That's the natural base, right?
All right.
The natural base.
Or we could say that e to the x minus, that's a common base
Common base, yes, that's what I meant. And that's 10, correct.
for the log. So if we take the natural log of both sides here,
Sounds like a trend.
what is the natural log of 1? 0. So our answers here are x equals the natural log of 2. If you were asked to get a decimal approximation, you could do that. Or x equals 0. Let's look at one more. If the first exponent is twice the second exponent, then you have it in quadratic form. Notice that first exponent is twice the second exponent. So what are my first terms going to be, Dimitri? What goes here?
The e.
E to the x and e to the
E
x.
to the x.
Now, what are products of 12 that would give me negative 7?
Negative 3, negative 4.
Good. Okay, so we know that e to the x then could be equal to 3, or e to the x could be 4. How do we solve that, Annalisa?
We do the natural log.
Take the natural log of both sides, and the natural log of e is always 1. And over here, the same thing. So those are pretty easy. What you have to look for is to make sure that this exponent is twice this exponent. All right?
If we get like, can they have 3x?
Only if this were, no.
So like
It wouldn't be.
It
It'd
won't
be-
go higher than e2x.
Well, if this were 2x, you could have a 4x here.
Oh, so it has to be like root of 2. Okay.
Mhm.
Then, yeah, it would just reduce to
Yeah.
2x.
Yeah, this would be e to the 2x
So
and
you
e to
can't
the
have
2x.
like a.
Won't be odd.
Okay.
The first one won't be odd.
So you could always reduce it to 2.
I think so, yes. Okay. Be okay there? Let's look, and you've already done some of this, so this won't take long to talk about. If we had the natural log of x equals 3, how do we solve that? Andrew? If I want to solve for x,
What we just did.
we've done some similar to this.
You would,
No. Sean?
Would you
We can,
natural log both sides?
no, we already have the natural log,
do the, what we did with that problem over there.
which was what?
So it would be e to the third equals x.
Rewrite it in exponential form. And so, just to save time, you can get a decimal approximation if it's asked for one. Just you know how to plug that in your calculator. What about one like this? Log base 3, x plus 1 equals log base 3, x plus 7. How could we find x here? Matt?
You just said x plus 1 equal to x plus 7.
I must have written something down wrong. This should have been an x minus 1. That's why it's,
So you still be able to get rid of the log base.
no, I did something wrong here. No, I wrote it down wrong. No wonder. It should have been a 5x minus 1. That'll make it work. X minus 1 equals x minus 7 wouldn't work. So what is, we get 4x equals 8. So x equals
Wait, that was 5x.
5x minus x. I'm sorry, I'm going too fast.
No, you jumped from 5x to 4x.
Because I subtracted x from both sides.
Gotcha. That's on me. That's on me.
Say it's my fault.
That's on me. I'll take the blame for that.
X equals
2.
2. All right.
I will take the blame for that.
What about, let me move that out of the way.
What? Oh, man. Thank you,
Okay, what about here? Have all the same base.
One property, just remove.
Can I use the one-to-one property yet?
No.
No. What do I have to do, Zach?
You got to convince them.
You convince me. What do I need to do? Condense, you said. Okay, how do I condense it? I thought you said convince them.
No. Convince them.
You gotta convince the math.
How do I condense it? Convince me.
Well, condensing in its very nature is making them smaller.
Okay.
So,
Good job.
what you're going to want to do is subtract 5 from 3x plus 14.
Is that what I want to do?
Yeah, oh, is that what
Yes,
it is?
it's gonna be 3x plus 14 over 5.
Okay, when I subtract that, when we condense, it becomes a division problem. But you were right that we have to condense it. All right, so now what do I do, Zach?
One-to-one property time.
Okay, and that means what?
Get rid of the log 6s.
And do what?
Move the 2x over to make it equal to 0.
Is he right, Annalisa? What would you do?
Why do you keep attacking us?
Why are you attacking me?
What would you do, Annalisa?
You do 5x plus 14 equals negative 5?
No.
5x.
Dimitri?
5x. Oh.
What x?
Literally multiply it by 5.
Sean?
Yeah, remove the log 6s and then multiply by 5 on both sides.
How about we,
He's the one giggling over here at my answers. He probably knows.
You want the
To get rid of the 5, to get rid of the 5 in the bottom, multiply both sides
Yeah,
by
you have to
5.
multiply.
Okay, so 3x plus 14 equals 10x.
And you,
You'd add the 10.
oh, you have to, when you have to
You have
subtract
to-
3x on both sides.
Subtract 3x from both sides. So x equals 2.
That's what I said.
That's basically what I said.
But we had to set 3x plus 14 over 5 equal to 2x.
We just didn't say that. We just understood. that's
Maybe
what we
you
already
s-
did.
You were seeing it in your, yes, do that one.
No, that's not that bad.
Condense it, our first step, if we're going to go step by step, is this. And then you said we set 5x plus 13 divided by 6 equals 3x. How can I get that 6 out of the denominator?
multiply times 6.
Multiply both sides by 6. So 5x plus 13 equals, what's 6 times 3? So if we subtract 5x, what does x equal? 1. So these aren't bad. One more let's look at.
True. Whoa, that was cool.
It's a lot more quiet.
I wonder why.
Really?
We
Okay,
all know why our classroom is quieter.
what do we do here? What does that plus
Because we were
mean?
missing like 8 students.
And one with a loud enough voice for 10 people.
And one loud voice.
What does that plus mean we do?
You
multiply.
Multiply, so we're going to have the log of 5x times x minus 1 equals 2, or the log of 5x squared. Can I go ahead and multiply that out?
Yes. Yes, you can.
We think it's
Can I use a one-to-one property here?
No.
So what do I have to do?
Quadratic.
Is this natural log?
No,
What log is it?
base 10.
Base 10.
okay.
So we rewrite it
Oh, okay.
in exponential form.
So
So 10 squared equals 5x squared. And if we subtract and put everything on one side, we have a quadratic. Just to make this easier, I would divide everything by 5 first. Since they're all divisible by 5.
Well, he goes to 25.
Pardon?
No.
X squared minus x minus, how many times 5 go into 100? 20. Okay, so we can factor this. How does it factor?
negative 5 and 4.
X minus 5 and x plus 4. So x could be,
Negative 4, positive 5.
okay, here, anytime that you are factoring like this, we need to double check. We might have an extraneous solution, an extra solution that doesn't work. So all you have to do is make sure you don't get a negative number if you plug it back in. So if we plug in 5 to either one of my, let's say we plug it in here. If I plug in 5, am I going to get a positive number?
Yeah.
Yeah. What if I plug in negative 4? Will I get a positive number?
You will.
What, let's go back to the top one. Let's don't look, that won't work if we look at that one. Let me erase where I had this.
7.
Well, I can't.
And Lisa.
If I plug in a negative 4 back into my original, will I get a negative number right here?
You will.
So that won't work.
So the only answer is
X equals 5. Okay, because we can't have a negative 20 right here. So anytime that you are factoring, if you've rewritten it in exponential form and you have to factor, just check both of your answers real quick to make sure you won't get a negative number. All right. Any questions? There's the assignment.